Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today to celebrate Bardeen's anniversary. What we're celebrating today is that we launched 1 year ago publicly from becoming this stealth mode product into launching directly on Product Hunt 1 year ago. So today we're going to be talking about some stories from 1 year ago. We're going to be talking about some user stories too. We're going to invite some of our users to talk, to give their thoughts about the product and such. We're going to announce a contest, so more details on that later. And we're going to have a small moment at the end to network, to also respond to any questions you have, either about the event or about your automation. Give a start to the second community hangout. We did one like 15 days ago, and we're excited to keep on doing this on a recurring basis. So 1 year ago, I want to start with a small story about what happened 1 year ago. I was exactly in your spot. I was like an excited user that was following Bardeen and was quite obsessed. In fact, I used Bardeen to build a side project, and I also used it inside the company I was working in. I was pro user at the time, and I remember in those days. So I remember in those days I was a pro user and I was engaging on the Slack community. And I remember everyone from Bardeen team, they were going nuts. They were so stressed about the launch. So I offered my help to Rinat and to the team to share and support the launch with as many people as possible. And I started like sharing with my friends. I even commented on the Product Hunt launch. And I remember that this comment actually made it into the Product Hunt official newsletter. So that was like a cool way to support Bardeen. And something that I was able to see was actually see the team hustle in real time. I saw how they got to become the product of the day. And later on, they become the product of the month. And as I saw that, I realized something. I was like, wow, this product, this team, and this community around it are very unique. And they can definitely make an impact on how people work. So some days passed and I decided to reach out on a simple email. I simply went to like the careers page and I pitched I pitched Bardeen my job. I told them like, hey, I've been a user. I've been using it for XYZ, and I got an interview, and the rest is history, right? So this is my story, looking back a year ago on what happened, and now I want to have that story also from the point of view of our CEO. So we have here Pascal Weinberger. I'm thrilled to have you here. He's the CEO of Bardeen. Well, it's been a year since we launched Bardeen. Congratulations. And I remember that 1 year ago, you were reflecting on the evolution of Bardeen from its initial version, from being this terminal kind of UX where you put in some inputs and you could construct your automation, and how it evolved into the current UX. I wanted to ask you, looking back, how do you feel about Bardeen launching 1 year ago?
Yeah, it's a great question. First of all, thanks, Ivan, for organizing this. Thanks for having me. Thanks, everyone, for joining. It's like super cool. Yeah, I mean, last year was a very stressful day for us. So there was like a few months of work going into kind of launching the version that we had launched on Product Hunt. And we started kind of like fall the year before. And there was a lot of kind of like last minute fixes, and we were like every day we were trying to make things work, and like we didn't have a working product until like maybe a week or 2 weeks before the launch date that we set. But everything else was already ready. Like we had the launch video, we had like, Product Hunt, you need the person to like actually launch the product and all those things. So we were like, okay, we're not gonna push the launch date, we're just gonna like somehow make this work. So everyone from the entire team at that point, we were like maybe 10 people. It was just like working day and night to make it possible. And then we were hustling like basically the hours before the launch to make, fixes on the landing page, sign up flow, all the little details. And then the launch happened and we were like, okay, we want to like win this. Like we went into like become product of the day, right? So like we knew that it was going to involve like a lot of hustling on the day off. It was probably the longest day of my life. Like I know that like I and Artem and Renard, who's also here from the team, and a bunch of other people ended up staying up for like probably like 30 to 40 hours on that day, just like in front of our computers, fueled with Red Bull and coffee to try to make it through the day. Yeah, it was like really cool. I think at that time, it was like probably the most successful launch on Product Hunt that then got us like, the product of the month and all these other features. And when we launched, we only had a few hundred users. Like it was super small, not a big user community, the product wasn't great, not that stable. And since then, I mean, as Ivan pointed out already, we've come a long way. Like now we have more than 100,000 people who have actively used Bardeen. I think the statistics say that like we saved anywhere between 300 and 3,000 hours, depending on how you count it, for our users of time. So that's super cool. I think most amazing thing about all of this is we're just getting started. So there's a lot of cool stuff that we're working on right now, including like some of the stuff that we'll talk about later, like an always on cloud runtime. Like you all know that like one of the limitations of the product today is that if you have a automation running and your browser goes offline, then it stops working. So that's something that we're working on fixing. We'll start working on team version very soon, where you can share automations with the team and work together and collaborate on automations with the team. We have some super exciting stuff around AI and like the latest hype around, GPT, ChatGPT, and all these things, where we have our own take on how to use those technologies to help make automations more accessible and make it easier. We have some demo videos for that linked on the website that I think are really cool. We have a lot of more integrations coming out. Like we're starting to roll out a bunch of the integrations that are always requested, overall more stability and usability in the product. So a lot of exciting stuff coming. And yeah, I mean, 1 year is like, we're like a baby product. I think it's the way to think about it. We're just starting to grow up, and like we're like slowly crawling right now, and soon we'll start walking and then running, and I'm super excited to see how that's going to be, and I'm super grateful for everyone's support here. So yeah, it's been a fun ride so far.
Thank you, Pascal. Yeah, I totally agree. And there's something I deeply believe, that startups, 1 year in a startup feels like 3 years in real life. So thank you so much for your way to kick off the event.
You also age more
And
than 1 year.
yeah,
And more than 3.
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, it's more like dog years. You live 7 in 1. All right. So it's been an incredible year for Bardeen. And what we want to do next is we want to showcase some of our highlights. And we want to take a look at different metrics, at what we've achieved and what's next. And you can follow this event on our anniversary page. You can check bardeen.ai/anniversary to see all of these different metrics and the details of what we're going to be discussing today. So we've achieved some pretty cool things, and we can start with our metrics about saving people time, right? So at Bardeen, we're all about helping users save time. Let's take a look at some of our metrics from the past year. We've helped people save 300 years of time. That's the amount that collectively all users have saved thanks to Bardeen. So let's put that into perspective. That's like going to the 18th century and still having like 100 days to spare. And it's not only about time saved, but it's also about the amount of automations that have been executed. That's 3 million automations that Bardeen users have executed. And that's basically like the population of Armenia, where our CTO is from. So huge shout out to Artem. We made it into a country-size user base amount of automations. So, and the last but not least, I think it's also about the amount of people we've reached. We've reached more than 100K users that have tried to automate their workflows and save time, many of them obviously successfully. And that is kind of a huge impact on so many people. So these are cool numbers, but what does that mean for you, for our users? And I want to share this statistic that I really like, and it's that our top 20% of users are saving 6 hours a week. So that's 6 hours of time you can be saving every week. So if you were to put in the effort, putting some learning, execute some automations and build your own automations in a couple of weeks, maybe in a couple of days, you could enter into those top 20% of users, and you can be saving 6 hours per week. And that is valuable time. Like in 6 hours, you can go to the beach, you can spend that time working on things that actually have value, you can spend time with your family. So that is better time spent than in manual work. And all of these numbers, they're a result of doing a lot of work and achieving a lot of milestones. We've done quite a lot. We've launched 3 times on Product Hunt this year. We raised a series of funding. We've added AI features, and there's so many other highlights that you can read on detail on our website at bardeen.ai/anniversary. But all of them have been possible thanks to our community, because the community has supported us in all of the different events we've done. And as a user myself and leading the community, I am so happy and delighted to share that our Slack community has grown to 2.5K members. And only in the last month with our new AI features and our new launches, we've increased it in 400 members that are new to the community. So that's also like a celebration for our community and for our users. And while we've done this, while we've had 7 years in one, we've also had a lot of fun, right? The team members, we've had 4 offsites this year to 4 different countries in Europe. And all of these experiences have been great for us to think, to create new products, to launch new stuff, and to define the future of Bardeen. And if this is intriguing for you, you should definitely check out our careers page. Maybe you can pitch us your job, just as I did once, and you might be able to participate in one of these offsites. So now all of this sounds pretty exciting, right? But it's just the beginning. Just as Pascal said, this is just the beginning. And I want to take a moment to discuss what's next. And I want to show you some of our upcoming features. So you can check some of the live features on our anniversary page, but let me introduce you to some of them. We're going to be working on the magic box, which is this input box where you can type in the type of automation you want, and you can have it created with AI directly. Just as if you were typing it into ChatGPT, you can have an automation pop in there with only an input. We're also doubling down on suggested automations. So a big problem we know is that people struggle to think about what kind of automation should I build for my use case? And we can save you some of that time and some of that struggle by suggesting you automations for the apps that you're already using, for the actions that you're already taking on the web. So we will be able to suggest you automations when you're copying data from LinkedIn into Google Sheets. You might get one of these pop-ups. This is something we're also working. And there's also 2 other features that we're excited to be sharing soon. And it's the support for automations in the cloud that will basically enable Autobooks to be run when your computer is asleep. So that is a frequently asked question about how can I run my automations if my computer is off. So this is going to be available soon. And this is going to allow so many interesting use cases. And we're also going to be launching other pro features like Bardeen features for team members. So teams will be able to collaborate within them and share automations with them in a secure space for everyone in the team to have those automations available. Also, you remember that you can stay up to date for this new releases that we'll be shipping on our release notes page. You can check it out, bardeen.ai release notes. You can search it on Google too. And we're creating them every month, announcing the new features we're adding. Now, well, enough talk. I want to hear it from the users themselves, because I know it's always inspiring to hear how Bardeen has impacted other people's life, and how other people have leveraged it, right? So let's check this video for a second. And I also want to invite a couple users to participate. This is a video of basically interviews I've done with users, and we've sorted some of their comments. So they're very kind of real. So I want you guys to hear it.
I use it basically every day, right? It saves me so much time just being able to scrape the data that I need to scrape in order to do all of my outbound prospecting, so that I can make all of my emails personalized and do that at scale. In sharing playbooks with the team at Deal around how to pull data on LinkedIn based on which companies are hiring. On LinkedIn, you can see stats for how much a company has grown over the past 6 months, 12 months, or 2 years. If a company is growing, if they're hiring people, if they're adding headcount, they probably have money. They probably, business is good for basically any business in the world. That's an easy way to rank accounts. I had a good call yesterday, and the head of Israel, he's like fairly senior at Deal. We were in a call with 50 AEs all across EMEA at Deal, and they were asking, who was it that was pulling that data from LinkedIn and ranking accounts? And I was like, oh yeah, I was doing that. And he was like, that's genius. Tell us all how to do it. And so I put together a video, put together a playbook, shared it with the team, and yeah, it seems to be going down pretty well.
I'm on the board of advisors for at least 3 different recruitment tools. I find you guys eminently fascinating in the automation space, and I have a lot of autonomy, a lot of decision-making power. And what I'm doing on my team right now that brought me to Bardeen was we're building out our projects, tasks, and wiki for the recruiting function on Notion. We're in the process of building that out now. And so a lot of the automation stuff, I've been looking at Make, I've been looking at Integrally, I've been looking at Automate.io, which was acquired by Notion, and I have enjoyed using Bardeen because I'm not fluent with automations. And so Bardeen has been helpful thus far. The only automation I have, and the one that has changed my life, and I have told everybody about it, is the automating starting my next Zoom meeting for me that you guys have as a turnkey. Oh my gosh. Everybody I know is late to meetings because we're back to back to back, and I am never late to meetings anymore, ever. I just love it so much.
All right, that's a great way to continue the event. So this is the recordings, but I also value like real life members actually talking about their experiences. And I want to invite to the stage 3 members that are very important to us, and I want to see if they're around. So let's start with Carl. Are you around?
Hello. Yes. Hi, everyone.
Hey, Carl. Okay, so Carl, he works at Deal. He's an expert at Bardeen sales. This guy has blown my mind several times. And I wanted to ask you, Carl, can you tell us a bit, how did you meet Bardeen and how are you using it?
Yeah, for sure. So, hey, everyone. Nice to meet you all. Yeah, I'm Carl. I'm an AE at Deal. So I work in the sales team at a company called Deal. It's like a enterprise SaaS company. And yeah, I came across Bardeen because I was looking for a web scraping tool. And I'm not an engineer, I'm not a developer, but yeah, I was just trying to find a way that I could pull data from different sites and organize it in a way that's effective. And I just asked a colleague here at Deal, and he said, yeah, like you should definitely check out Bardeen. It makes it super simple. And he gave me like a 2-minute tutorial, and that was it. After that, I was kind of off to the races. Probably been bugging Arvin a couple of times with a few questions, but yeah, been setting up some automation since then, and it's one of my go-to tools now. Like there isn't a day that I don't use it. It's amazing.
So Carl is also leading one of our channels in the community, the sales and prospecting. So like this guy is your guy if you have a question about that. Thank you so much, Carl. This is great. And I love your stories about how you're helping Deal, and not only yourself, but all other members inside Deal actually automate their work. Thank you, Carl. And now I want to hear it from another member of our community that is also very active, and it's Ignacio. Are you around?
Yes, definitely. Hi, guys.
Okay, so
Thanks for inviting me.
Ignacio, he's a Notion automation expert. This guy has built some of the best templates I've ever seen in my life. And he is also like one of the members that really understands Bardeen in deep level. Like he's created like more than 100 scrapers. And I wanted to introduce Ignacio to the community. Ignacio, can you also tell us, how did you meet Bardeen? How are you using it right now?
Sure. Thanks first for complimenting my work. Yeah, I find out about Bardeen because I'm a really active user in Product Hunt. So most likely I upvoted Product Hunt on the day of the launch. And yeah, the thing that I remember that I actually made a top that week on featuring like Bardeen because it was, well, actually the best launch of the month. And I remember you reached out to me like saying me, you can do this way more easy and automated. And that's when I actually engaged with Bardeen. And also seeing that Bardeen was featured in the Notion integrations gallery. Yeah, me being a Notion guy just made sense. And once you actually start using the tool, it's just awesome.
Awesome. Do you want to tell us about a bit about your work? Like right now you're building some automations and you're actually selling them, right? With some Notion template.
Yeah, so I basically have 2 brands. In the last 10 months, I have built 60K on combined audience, 55K on downloads. I believe more than 50 products for one brand and more than 20 products for the other one. And yeah, I use basically a lot Bardeen to automate some of the database creation and AI generated text for building these products. And I also always feature like in the integrations and resources side of my my premium templates, Bardeen automations that work well with my things. And I built some stuff like link directories a lot with the help of Bardeen.
Nice. Do check out Ignacio on Twitter. He creates a lot of awesome automations. Thank you so much, Ignacio, for participating. And finally, there's another member that is also new to our community, and she's called Jess. She's been like the product of the month because she's very active and she helps out all users in the community. So I'm really impressed about how much you've learned, and she's been a user for a very long time. So just wanna come up and also share with us, how did you meet Bardeen? How are you using it?
Hey everyone, it's nice to meet you guys. So yeah, I'm Jess. I'm from Minnesota here in the States. I'm currently a business analyst for a law firm working in our legal technology solutions department. So basically I help create software for our attorneys to make their everyday lives a little bit easier. Just want to say thank you for asking me to speak today to share my experience with Bardeen to date. So here's my story. I consider myself really passionate about productivity, and I believe that two big players in being productive are being organized as well as having streamlined processes or systems. So naturally, I'm always looking for improving these in my everyday life. And in April of last year, I discovered a tool called Notion that I thought could really help me with organizing these areas of my life, like finance, meal planning, traveling, etc. So I started learning more and more about Notion and how I could use it to best fit my needs. I found it to be super customizable, user-friendly, and the fact that you could actually create Notion templates to sell as digital downloads throughout online marketplaces, I thought was super, super cool. And someday I might want to do that. So I started looking at these templates that others had created, as well as the Notion out of the box templates. And I found that there was still like a lot of manual work to be inputting data in order for them to work properly or to like their fullest potential. So for me, this was taking too much of my time, and I thought there's got to be a better way. So I started looking, and I found these automation tools like Zapier, Automate, Make, and Integround, that their functionality was what I was looking for. However, I found that the learning curve and pricing of these tools were unattractive to me. So I kept looking and finally stumbled upon Bardeen. So in comparison of these tools, I felt like Bardeen had the most user-friendly interface, easy to understand tutorials, and a lot of them, which was awesome for me. And it was free at the time, so it met all of my requirements. I could also see that the community momentum that I still see today with this tool, and I know it has a huge potential to help a lot of people in the future, and I'm super excited about that. And another thing I wanted to share is one of my automations that I've created with Bardeen. It's basically, I've got it automatically updating a Google chart that visualizes and tracks the percentage of my daily habits that I've checked off inside of Notion, where also this Google chart is embedded. I'd still consider myself in the early stages of using Bardeen, but I hope to continue learning and partnering with the people at Bardeen and in the community, as well as start selling my Bardeen automated Notion templates. So yeah, that's my experience. Nice to meet you guys.
Wow. Thank you so much. Yes, that was amazing. We look forward to see all of those automations, and I think you can build some incredible use cases for personal productivity habits. Notion. I think many Notion users can also relate with your story. So thank you so much. All right. So let's continue. Now I'm happy to put in a drum roll. Now we are happy to announce a fantastic contest to celebrate 14th anniversary. We want to hear about your favorite automations and how they've helped you save time and become more productive. We're doing it to celebrate the community. And we have some really cool prizes and incentives too. So if anyone wants to participate, this is an amazing opportunity for you to show off your cool work. Really, anyone can participate, and it's super easy. I'm going to show you how you can do this. So it's as simple as for like running a Bardeen automation. You simply go into your playbook you want to share, you click on the share button, and then you will get a link, and you will get options to share directly on social. So you can share on social like LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, or TikTok. And do remember that usually videos have better engagement. And we know that not all of our users are very socially active. So if you're shy on social media, we also have an option for you to upload a video on Video Ask. All of these details, you will also find them on our website for the anniversary. You can simply upload your video on the Video Ask, and that's another way to participate on the event. And the coolest part is we will feature all of our participants on social media. So So you can show off, you can leverage this for your own personal branding. And we will be sharing all of them, reposting them, and trying to get you also some reputation for your work. So show off your automation skills. You might as well become famous in the process, right? So the most engaging posts from this contest will be selected as winners. We're thinking about 3 winners, but we're keeping it flexible. So do get creative and start sharing your automations. The deadline to apply is on February 28th. So at the end of this month, you have until the end of the month to participate. And yeah, I think the last thing to mention is for you to increase the awareness of your posts, try to share them on the Slack channel. So once you post it on social, your automation, you can share it on the showcase channel. And that way it'll also be on a radar and other users might be able to also engage with it. So that's my recommendation. So before continuing, let's see some examples. So here's like a social hall of fame on how other users have shared it so far. So you get some inspiration on how you can also share your automations. So there's LinkedIn posts. So here's Giancomo Melzi. He talks about productivity and automation on LinkedIn. And he shared this automation to save LinkedIn posts into Notion. So that's a way you can do it. He did a very quick Loom video and made it into a GIF, and then he uploaded it to LinkedIn, and he got like 1,000 interactions. So that's a big opportunity on LinkedIn. There's also Twitter. Ignacio shared a mind-blowing automation on how to automate job applications with a LinkedIn URL and with the job URL. And the funny thing is, we called out the automation in the past event. And I remember we actually made this challenge. So we told our users like, hey, who wants to create this automation? And Ignacio was the first one to raise the hand and share it on social. So he did a great job there. And finally, there's also other examples on TikTok.
If you're trying to network with recruiters or
out.
professionals on LinkedIn and want to keep track of who you contacted, try Bardeen. Bardeen is a free Google Chrome extension that saves you time by automating repetitive tasks with one click of a button. This is how I use Bardeen. Lately, I've been trying to network with recruiters at Google in hopes of getting an interview. Before Bardeen, I would manually type in the LinkedIn information into Excel. After using Bardeen, it has saved me so much time and kept me organized. All I have to do is hit Alt-B and boom, it saves the info into a Google Sheet for me. Bardeen is free, go try it. If you're trying to network with...
Nice, really cool video. So those are some examples on TikTok. And well, now is the time for questions. Does anybody have a question about this event, about the contest? I think it's the time to ask.
Ivan, can you share some crazy automations that you've seen? Maybe something that surprised you? The job application with the AI one was my most surprising one. That was from Ignacio. I actually incorporated it into the video that we just released half an hour ago. So after the event, you might want to check it out.
Yeah, let me share that real quick. I think this Twitter post has the video and it uses AI like great matter. So Ignacio, do you want to talk about this? Okay.
Yeah, I did it because of the challenge, but because I already have like a big database of scraper templates. So I also have these scraper templates that give me fresh ideas. So yeah, I just made it in 8 minutes, I believe, something like that. And it saves me a lot of time.
That's really cool. Like it took us a lot of time to build AI automations and we just mastered it in a couple minutes.
There's a lot more I have, man. I should post more. My Bardeen account is like filled, dude. So yeah, I'll be doing that.
Yeah. Well, you got our support. So and the challenge is the best moment to do it. I already mentioned the awards. If I haven't, the award for participating are a full year of Bardeen Pro one-on-one consulting. So I'll be able to help you one-on-one, and you can schedule a couple of calls on how you can use Bardeen. And we'll limited edition swag about Bardeen. So that's pretty cool. I wanted to thank everyone for participating in this event because this is Bardeen's anniversary, and we could not have done it without our community. And we're excited to see what the future holds. I know this is only the beginning, so thank you so much for being such great community members. Don't forget to participate in the contest, and I hope we can see each other again in the next community hangout.
Awesome.